What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out. This is my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, this is kind of a continuation of the port begging, basically. I'm still not. That term, port begging, or port begging, feels like it's always been there, but I'm not used to it. If that makes, I don't know. It's weird. My brain's weird. So anyway, the rumor that Hi-Fi Rush is coming to the Nintendo Switch. Now, I could believe that. I'm like, yeah, because I think what's happening is, I think Microsoft's no dummy. Obviously, they're no dummy because they've been on the steady path of what they've been doing for 10 years at least. 10 years. Ever since they got Minecraft, 10 years. And they are in a better position than they were 10 years ago, right? 10 years ago, look at PlayStation, right? 10 years ago, PlayStation's on top of the world. PlayStation's making fun of Xbox One. PlayStation's like, this is how you share games. All these things, right? Winning generations and all that stuff. 10 years later, look at PlayStation now. Look at Sony now. They're in a worse position than they were 10 years ago. That's the difference between a company that is planning the long run. I mean, these are giant corporations. You don't have a giant corporation to just get that quick money. That's not how that works. You want to build, grow something. You want to grow wealth, right? You're not just getting, oh, let's get that quick cash, get that quick cash. That's so short-sighted. Why didn't they see that? Okay, so the Hi-Fi Rush thing, I can see it. I can see Microsoft trying to make inroads with Nintendo to try, oh, sure, you can get Hi-Fi Rush because honestly, I'm gonna be real, Hi-Fi Rush looks like it belongs on the Nintendo Switch. It's kind of like, that's an Xbox game, and it's surprising, and it's surprisingly excellent. I mean, I don't wanna say it like that because that's really the kind of rhetoric, and I'm kind of repeating it, like, oh, all Xbox games are trash, oh, this game is good, surprise, right? That's not really how it is, but anyway. That's the perception of fanboys and such. But I can see, like I said, Microsoft trying to make inroads with Nintendo to say, you know, try to leverage maybe a Game Pass on the Switch, or, you know, we're doing COD on the Switch. We're going to do some other of our giant games on the Switch. It'll probably be backwards compatible to the OG Switch and the new Switch and all that stuff. Remember, Switch has 150 million. I don't even know how many they have. About 120 something million units. So that's way more than the PlayStation 5. So if you had to pick, you say, let me see, put my game on the Switch or put my game on the PlayStation, you take the Switch. They have more units, right? So when these port begging fools, these port begging ponies are like, oh, it's gonna come to the PlayStation 5 too as well, I'm like, I don't think so. I think it's Game Pass, Xbox, PC, Switch. See, this whole thing with what Microsoft is doing, what the game that they're playing right now, is because of what Sony has done for years. They're trying to destroy competition, not be better than competition, just destroy competition so they don't have to try as hard. Oh, they expected Xbox to not even be around, so they have nothing lined up. They got nothing. Like, what happened to all their single player sad bad walking simulator bangers? Aren't they supposed to be like scheduled and let's go? Did they bust a nut too quick? Huh? They did 2 minutes and then boop, done. That's it. Where's the rest of your games? And the whole games of service, that's new. That's not even like, that wasn't part of the plan. That's something new. But anyway, I wanted to kind of touch on that. It makes sense to go to the Switch. For the PlayStation, I'm not sure. I'm not gonna say no, definitely, but if I am Phil Spencer, I would say no, screw them, and then he's gonna look over to Matt Booty, and Booty's like, you know what's up. You know what's up, dog. You know what I say to play. You know what I say. Anyway, so connected to PlayStation, Sony, I watched their CES presentation. I tried to watch the whole thing. It's about 59 minutes or something. I fell asleep at some point, and I was like, and I woke up and the video was over, and I said, I guess I didn't miss anything, because I saw the PlayStation part. I saw the part where they're talking about the damn car again. Yes, they did. I saw the part where they talk about the movies and artist camps. Let's go to art camp. I'm talking music art, obviously. Musical camp, so we can have people, new artists, get music. I'm like, admirable, but is that gonna make you money? No, not really. Not really. You're just trying to, I don't know, put on a user-friendly face or something. After all the things that they did on the PlayStation side, like, oh, you guys are friendly to artists or I don't know. It seems like a trap. It seems like a trick. Like, based off of the behavior of what they did, raising all those prices, doing all these things, taking the movies away, all this stuff. Well, actually, they reneged on that. So it was, I think it was Discovery stuff. They were gonna take it away, but then last minute they made a deal. So, oh yeah, we're gonna keep it up. Man, honestly, if they had the foresight, they would have been like, yo, we got to keep this stuff here because, but what they do is, this is what they do. They're trying to cut costs everywhere, right? So they're like, yo, if we cut this, then we'll save this much money. Let's put it out there, see what they say. If they don't care, then we're going to cut it and we're going to make the money. But if they do care, then we're going to have to do some stuff and then make it work and blah, blah, blah. You know, it's like, it feels like a company that's like out of gas. And then, sorry for the yelling, I get excited. They were supposed to merge with another Indian company called whatever, PP or something. I don't remember what it's called. It's not called that, but I forgot what it's called. It was a $10 billion deal, right? And everybody's reporting, oh, it looks like Sony's gonna walk away from this deal because nobody can come to terms. I'm like, yo, that's par for the course, because Sony did the same thing with Nintendo. Actually, Nintendo screwed over Sony in that respect, but still. Nintendo screwed over Sony because Sony wanted too much. Sony wanted the rights to all Nintendo's IP. I'm like, how the hell what? How does that work? How are you gonna make a CD peripheral and then own all of Nintendo's games? I mean, that's what I understand. You know, maybe it's different, I don't know. But look, how I understand it, I think Sony needs to come back down to reality and reevaluate their position in the industry, because they think they are the best. They think they the shit. But obviously they're not. They can't even close a $10 billion deal. Microsoft closed the most difficult deal in the history of video games. 7 times the size of that little puny $10 billion deal. And they had to fight off the courts because of Sony, because of crying lion Jim Ryan. They still got it done. Who's the better corporate? Who's the better CEO? Who's the better? Who still has a job? When's the last time y'all saw Jim Ryan? Y'all acting like, oh, Jim Ryan's still there. He's gonna be there till March. No. He's fired. They told you that so he could save some face, but no, he's not there no more. They're full of shite, and it's just ridiculous. And if y'all believe it, then y'all are ridiculous too. Stop believing this BS PR stuff that they're feeding you. Look at the facts. If he was still on the job, he would still be out there. He would be on the State of Play. He would be doing all those things. Making his farewell tour because he was so loved. But they couldn't close the deal. My question is, first, it was a merger. Now, mergers are something that happens when your company is in trouble, basically. When Sega merged with Sammy, now it's Sega Sammy, I think, or Sammy Sega, no, Sega Sammy, I believe it is. And I was like, I mean, did it affect Sega that much? Not really, but it felt a little, not cheap, but it's like, oh man, Sega's like, they need the help, and I mean, at least it's an S, so it's Sega Sammy, but alliteration. But the whole thing about the Sony deal is that I guess Sony wasn't happy with the fact that the Indian guy, I guess whoever is the CEO would be the CEO of the new merged corporation. And I guess the heads at Sony Japan were like, no, that's not gonna happen. That's how I saw it. So I was like, well, what do you expect? You have 2 CEOs, maybe y'all need to fight to the death. Kumite, Kumate. I'm just saying, you know. I don't know. It's just weird. And nobody ever heard. Did y'all hear about this deal before? I never heard nothing about this $10 billion deal of Sony merging with another company. That's a big deal. That's not something you just, that's not, no. That's not like, oh, they're going to buy something and it fell through. No. Sony, that's got PlayStation, the cameras, the movie division, all that stuff, merging with another corporation. Now, that corporation, I believe, I think it was a streaming video. I forgot exactly what they did. But it has something to do with, I believe, television or movie production. I can't remember what it was. Honestly, correct me in the comments. I read it and then it just flew out my brain. But it made sense as far as like what that company did and what Sony does, and you know them merging would make sense. But as far as like the logistics and personnel, they couldn't come to agreement. So Sony fails again. Another L for Sony. And it would have been good. That $10 billion would have been a giant Band-Aid for maybe a couple of years or something. But it seems like they're catching L's. And if something doesn't break for them, whether it's a game or something, they're gonna like have to severely downsize and become more of third party. I know all the donkey unicorns and the ponies, they were talking about, oh, Xbox is gonna be third party, Xbox is gonna be third party. But reality is Sony is in danger of being more of a third party than Microsoft is right now. Microsoft doesn't have to, but if they want to maximize their profits, then they can say, well, let's put it on the Switch because they're a totally different subset of gamers, this isn't a world where, oh, I'm gonna buy a Switch instead of Xbox, or a Switch instead of a PlayStation. They buy a Switch and an Xbox, or a Switch and a PlayStation. That's how it's been for a minute. And so ever since the Wii. And so Microsoft realizes that. Microsoft wants Nintendo as a partner. I don't think they want to buy them anymore, but I think getting close to them and helping them, let's say Microsoft and Nintendo get together and they come to an understanding, they do agreement, they partner. They have a partnership where Microsoft builds Nintendo's online infrastructure, call it Nintendo Live, and now it's like almost as good as Xbox Live, because Xbox Live has years and years and years. So I don't think they can do that overnight. They would have to slowly build it up to something that Nintendo actually wants, but use the Azure server farms instead of they're probably using Amazon. And just guaranteed, a bunch of uptime, blah, blah, blah. Just, because as far as I see it, the Azure cloud and all that stuff and the cloud saves and that stuff works. It just works. Every time I'm playing a game, cloud syncing, boop, let's go. Let's go. Okay, a couple of seconds, we good to go. And I'm on wireless in a bad wireless, and it's still good to go. So I'm like, yo, they doing something right. But business-wise, making more and deeper inroads with Nintendo in order to, get the games on the Switch. Plus, let's just say it's a game for a game. So you say, all right, y'all want Hi-Fi Rush? We'll give you Hi-Fi Rush. Give us Kirby's Dream Land or something, or give us the, not Tears of the Kingdom, but the one before that, Breath of the Wild. Give us Zelda Breath of the Wild, 4-year-old game, 5-year-old game, whatever, how old it is. Give us that. Throw it on Game Pass. We'll give you some money. You get a little extra dough. We'll give you we'll give you $10 million. Give us Zelda. Let's go. And the thing is that Microsoft can do that. I believe Game Pass makes $3 billion a month or year. $3 billion a year? I think it's $3 billion a year, or it's a month. I don't remember. But anyway, it breaks down so that it costs them $1 billion, and so they make $3 billion. So profits $2 billion. So they profit $2 billion. I mean, these are just numbers that I saw, so they may be inaccurate. But let's just say those are the numbers. So those numbers, like $2 billion a year, let's just say, just off of Game Pass. I could have swore it was a month. It might be a month. I don't know. I'll check the numbers, whatever. Or you could tell me in the comments. But anyway, that goes for other games. That goes towards, that gives them, because they can give Nintendo 10 million or 50 million for Zelda to be on Game Pass. And what does Nintendo have to do? Will they port it? Or maybe Microsoft says, nope, we'll port it. Just give us the rights to port it, to put it on there for 2 years or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And then boom. So they got that for 2 years or whatever. I don't know what the contracts would be. Maybe it would be a year. But is it worth it? Like for 50 million and they have 2 billion a month or whatever, or even a year, it's still, they have the money to do these things, to make these specific deals. And the 1 billion is what they pay out to like developers and games and such for Game Pass, to acquire different things for Game Pass. But anyway, like I said, those numbers could be weird. But I mean, looking at the math, it feels like that's something that makes sense for them to put like a Hi-Fi Rush, or, I mean, they're doing Call of Duty already, and that's probably for the next Switch. And that's cool. And so they made inroads already. I mean, it hasn't happened yet, it hasn't come to fruition, but it will. And those are the right steps to take. Instead of blockading, instead of guarding and shielding it and blocking your games from another console in order to try to sell more of your console, you put your game everywhere so it could make the most money. That's where it's so. We've heard it for years that the games make the money. The consoles are the loss leader. The consoles lose money. You get the consoles out there so you can sell more games. That's the whole point of selling all these consoles, not to make money off the consoles, but to sell more games. Do you think that these Nintendo Switch games would sell so much if Nintendo didn't have 120 million Switches out there? No, they wouldn't. It wouldn't sell. So that's the model. That's the model that Sony employs. But the problem with that, or I would say their short-sightedness, is holding them back. Microsoft says, well, we can put our games in more places, which is the same as having more consoles. It's all about selling units, not console units, game units. I think it's the right move. And I know people in the chat, they're gonna be like, well, they should put it on PlayStation 2 because they would sell more too, extra 50 million. And I was like, you know what? It might not be worth it. It might not be worth it to them to do the work to port it to PlayStation. But it would be worth it to port it to the Switch because the install base is way bigger. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. And also, Phil Spencer probably hates what PlayStation is right now, and they're just like, y'all go sit over there. We're not dealing with you right now. You tried to mess up our flow, so peace. Don't let me get booty on you. Woo, woo, woo. Bad Booty's ready to get him. Sorry for the loudness. Anyway, appreciate y'all. Like and subscribe. We getting there. I appreciate y'all again for getting me over that 500 hump. Now I need to get probably about 500 more view hours, because there's an hour, I think it's 3,000 hours, viewed hours per year. So I'm getting to that. Slowly but sure, it'll happen, so I'm not worried about it, but it'll take a little bit of time. But that's cool. And I've also been thinking about the music as well, so it's in my mind every day. So like I said, I'm keeping my word. My word is my bond. And that's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do that music, and I think I'm probably gonna do more than 2 songs, obviously. I'm probably gonna end up doing like a 5-song joint, but I'm just gonna, once I get my workflow down, I mean, I pretty much have it, but I have anyway, excuses. It's funny, it's like when you'll sit, like me, for instance, I'll sit and I'll think about something for a while, like something I wanna do or something I wanna create. I'll think about it for a while, kind of create it in my mind. And then boom, when I go to sit down to do it, I already have a plan. Or sometimes I'll sit down to make music and I'll just kind of start. My brain is empty. I'll just boop, 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 boop. Oh, there's a melody. Add some stuff to it. But this time I'm gonna do it a little different. I'm gonna be more intentional with it. So, but anyway, sorry about the rambles. Appreciate y'all. Eventually I will start streaming some stuff. I don't know if I want to stream games. I'm definitely gonna stream making the music. But like I said, I need to get a little bit of a better setup for that. I used to do it back in the day, but now it's a little different. But yeah, so let me know if you guys want to see that. It is definitely a different type of stream. Or maybe I will do, I'm trying to think, maybe I'll stream it on like Twitch and then cut it down, edit it for YouTubers. I don't know, I haven't figured it out. I want to do it in a way that is digestible, if that makes sense. Because when you stream making music, I can sit there for 3 hours and make a beat, obviously, because it's not that hard, without a plan. But that's a little boring, because some of it is like, trying to figure out parts and stuff, or if I'm gonna write, that's gonna take a whole another. So, but anyway, I appreciate y'all. Sorry about it. Let me know in the comments below what you think about the acquisition, the merger that Sony failed to complete, and all the other stuff I talked about. I don't even remember what it was. Oh, the port begging and the hi-fi Russian stuff. It's just crazy. This is crazy times. It's crazy times. And I mean, I'm not sure if y'all guys know, this is the last thing. I'm not sure if you guys know, if you realize it, but this is unprecedented times as far as what Sony is going through right now. I mean, it feels a little bit similar to that Atari ColecoVision phase, where Atari was big-headed and they screwed up and they put out a whole bunch of hot garbage, and the American home console market crashed for the most part because it was just them. And yeah, it was crazy. But if it's obviously not that, because we have a healthy Switch, we have a healthy Xbox, which is the American market. Although, the Switch and the PlayStation are part of the American market, although they're not American companies. But there weren't any, for the most part, there weren't any Japanese consoles back then competing with Atari. There were consoles. I think the SG-1000 was, I forgot when that came out. But there was a bunch of, like, Sega had, I think, 2 consoles before the Master System. I had no idea. I was like, what? I mean, I know about the SG-1000. But then there was another one before that. I was like, huh? Okay. I started with the Master System, so that was the first console I bought. I was so happy. I was like, I got it. Because, I was an arcade kid, but I was also disappointed when I played Afterburner on the Master System. I was like, this ain't like the arcade. This ain't Space Harrier, the same thing. I was like, I mean, it's close. At least he goes, get ready. And Outrun, I was like, oh, this is all right. But it's not nothing, though, I think they had Galaxy Force 2. No, they had Galaxy Force for the Genesis. Galaxy Force 2 for the Genesis. That wasn't, but I got the Nintendo's 3DS version, where I got the arcade version, but it's in 3D. I was like, okay, I'm gonna mess with that. Let's get that. I bought a 3DS specifically for that one cartridge. That's how much of a Sega fan I am. I'm like, I don't have Afterburner, I don't have Outrun, I don't have, Super Hang-On I got on Xbox, so I don't need that. But I want to have a collection of all those games, dude. I'm sorry, I'm rambling, I'll keep on going. I'm sorry. Anyway, hit me up in the comments. Let me know what y'all think about Sega. I feel like a little kid again when they announced this. I was like, I keep on rambling. All right, so I'll check y'all on the next one. I appreciate and all those things. See, everybody's leaving. Tilt the weight.